Hi everyone, welcome to the next episode of Women in Tech series. Today we have Isha with us. So some of you might be knowing Isha already. She is posting on LinkedIn a lot and sometimes about technical stuff, sometimes about managerial stuff. And she is currently head of engineering at Microsoft. And she has worked with multiple companies like Intuit, LinkedIn, Expedia, Dell, Nagero, and etc. So let's try to hear from Isa itself. How was her career and how was her journey to this particular domain and this particular field? Isa, will you like to talk about your initial journey, how you get into this particular field, and how has been your progress and other things in this particular career?
Sure, Ankur. Hey, hello to your audience as well.
Hey, hi, Isa.
So my journey started from software engineering, right? At that time, there was nothing like data engineering separately. In India, data came somewhere around 2012, I think. And then actively we started working on data somewhere around 2015, right? So when I started, I started into software engineering, different things, when I started, it was web services, mainframes. After web services, I moved into microservices. So that was the tech stack I was exploring in first decade of my career, right? And then the latest decade was more into data engineering, big data, data analytics, machine learning, applied AI. So that's how the journey has been. It's a clear distinction, right? First decade into software engineering, second decade more into data. But then I try to leverage software as much as possible to platformize machine learning, AI, and data, right? So that's how it has been. Sorry, what was the second question? I forgot.
Yeah, so the second question was that so you moved from multiple domain, like you moved from software engineers to senior software engineer, then to head of engineering and other things. So how this transitions has happened, and if you like to explain the difference between each roles, like there are many who just started the career like me, right? Who is just a normal software engineer, right? He might be promoted to staff engineer or senior software engineer than to manager and other things. So how the roles are actually different and how it shaped you as a person?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. So I started as software engineer, right? Then there was a senior software engineer. We used to call it software designer role, right? They're more into designing and doing the architecture stuff, right? Then it was a tech lead, come team lead kind of a role, and then I moved into management, right? So when I was into IC, right, I was a hardcore techie. So no one expected that I would ever move into managerial.
I can get that from your LinkedIn post when you talked about architecture and other things. And I feel that people who is in managerial nowadays still having that much interest in the techie stuff. That was really fascinating.
Yeah. So when I decided that I want to move to leadership roles, everyone, including my mentors at that time, they were like, "Are you sure you want to move to leadership? Maybe you won't enjoy that because you are too much into tech. You love tech. Maybe you should explore technical architect and then distinguished engineer. That kind of a roadmap rather than the leadership roadmap, right?" So for me, there were majorly two reasons to choose leadership path, right? One, I love talking to people. I love mentoring them. I love grooming them. I love solving their problems. I do a lot of, personal counseling as well for people, for their personal lives as well. So I thought that maybe that's the right field for me. Second is a very funny reason. So that time I just gave birth to my daughter, right? And it was going crazy. It's so much of work. And then, okay, don't laugh. But I used to think at that time that maybe, managers don't do a lot of work, right? So I thought that maybe that would be a good thing for me. I'll get some bandwidth. I'll get some time to settle with my daughter because it was going crazy for me, right? To manage everything alone. We didn't have any support system at home. So I was like, okay, I want to give time to my daughter in IC role. In techie, it's not working. So let me try managerial role. So that's how I started. But I think my journey has been really, very fulfilling and very rewarding when I moved to leadership because that aligned with my interests, right? That aligned with my passion. I was working with people. I was trying to help them taking the right call in their career, what they should do next, what they should try next in the technology or some other way, right? So that way it helped me to have more fulfilling journey. Your question was more about the different roles I have been.
Yeah, different role, right?
Yeah.
And particularly from technical to this managerial, this is quite different field, right? It's very hard to choose. I've seen people struggling to choose that I should go to this field or I should keep continuing the technical.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I think I told you the reason, right? So my reason were two. One, based on my passion. Second was based on the bandwidth stuff at that time. And honestly, it was a very difficult phase for me when I when I took that decision, because I was a hardcore techie, right? And I'll tell you the blunders I did, right? So in one of the meetings when I just became a manager, there was some production incident, right? And I told my tech lead, my engineers, and I was getting irritated. Like, why are they taking? It's just a production incident, right?
Yeah.
About bank, right? And people's money is involved, and they're taking hours and hours, right? And I was like, I called out a meeting. First 10 minutes I gave them to give an updates and all, and after that I was like, oh, tumse nahi ho payega, let me do it, okay? And then I was fixing the code myself, and later I realized how bad I was as a manager. Like, it was I was setting myself as a failure. I was setting my team also as a failure, right? Because yes, I was a pro at that because I was doing it for so long, right? But then they also need time to do that. Then only they will learn, right?
Right.
Give them an opportunity to learn. They will never learn that, right?
Right.
Maybe we'll fix it a bit faster, but then that we can do even if I'll just give them a direction and they will do the work,
Right.
So that I realized later. So, you're right that the first time management is very, very difficult. It's extremely difficult. You have to learn a lot, right? You have to learn how to delegate, when to delegate, and then keeping that balance. You should not over delegate as well, right? So you should know that when you have to pitch in and when you have to delegate, right? So that is the most difficult call. Then you have to invest yourself, right? You have to invest your time and energy into your people. You have to think about your people rather than yourself, right?
Right.
So earlier, whenever there is a, we are talking about any rewards or something, I was fighting with my manager, okay, why you didn't give it to me, or I deserve it, next time I should get it, right? But when I became a manager, I realized, it's not about me now, it's more about my people. So I started fighting for people, for my team, right? So, and that journey takes time. The transition takes time. It's more like a self-realization, right? And you are on a path. You take step by step, and then you start learning that what should what should be the right way, and when you should do what, right? So maintaining that balance is the key, which takes time for everyone, not only for me. It's not that I learned it very quickly in a year or so. It took me good 2-3 years to understand, how things work when you become the first time leader. And I think it's same for everyone. People take time, and that should be okay. We should give. So when I manage first time managers under me, I give them enough time, because it's a journey for them, right? They have just transitioned from a tech role to a manager.
Right.
So I give them time to learn, to see what is working for them, what is not working for them. And, leadership is, there is no fixed way for that. It's more like leadership. It's more like a lifestyle, right? You have to live that lifestyle. It's not that, okay, you'll go to 5 trainings, your leaders are nominating you for 5 trainings, you are learning leadership and then you are applying it, right?
Right.
Definitely, trainings help you, definitely workshops help you, but then it's a lifestyle. You have to adopt those things in your day-to-day life, right? Then only it will work out. So you have to put that conscious effort that, okay, you have to live that leadership, right?
Right.
So that's what I try to tell my mentees also who are first-time managers, that because a lot of times people struggle, right? When people reach me for mentorship, that they say that, okay, it's not working out. We do a lot of things for our engineers, but still we are not able to build a good relationship with them, right?
Right.
We're not able to build that trust, right? So that exactly happens with everything. These are the steps. It's a framework. You have to trust the process, right? It will happen like this only. First, you'll struggle. Everyone struggles, except the fact you will struggle. Then adopt the leadership, right? What works for you and what works for your team. And every time you have to be flexible, right? Every time you are in a new team, your leadership may be different. You'll need to adopt yourself as per your team, as per the technology, as per. So I'll give you an example. When you are leading a team of software engineers, when you are leading a team of data engineers, it's a very different track, right? And imagine if it's machine learning or any research team, it's very different, right? You can't tell your research team to follow 2 weeks or 3 weeks of sprint cycles, right?
Right.
You don't like into research, right? You have to mold your leadership style accordingly.
Right.
So not only as per your teams or tech stack, also when you change companies, right? Every company has a culture. So leadership is more about, I think it's more about being flexible, adopting different leadership styles, what works for you within that context, right? And within the as per the company, as per the perspective of the team, the tech stack, adopt, be flexible, and then live that lifestyle. That's what helps being the first time manager.
Right. So I have one follow-up question. Do you think that people who becomes leader from techie background, then it becomes easy for techie like me, like they have the soft corner for techie, they do understand the systems a lot, that the failure can happen. And the people who come from core manager backgrounds, they are like, why this problem happened at the first place? So do you think the people who are from techie backgrounds, with times they become say great managers or the great leaders? So as per my experience, I've always seen great managers, a great leader who were actually techie, and whenever I meet them, I actually feel like they're still techie, as like you. Your work is it's not like that you do understand Cassandra and the latest tech stuffs like Mongo or the Kafka and other things. But when I read your content, I feel like you don't know everything, right? You might not be knowing code, but you know design about everything. So do you think that it's really helpful when techie becomes a manager?
Let's take it with a pinch of salt, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's true and it's false, okay?
Okay.
So, and everything has a pros and cons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when a techie becomes a manager, good thing is, yes, you may feel more comfortable having technical discussions with them. You may feel more confident having a design discussion with them, because you know that, okay, the person you're talking to, they understand, right?
Right.
So you can lean upon them to get inputs also, right?
Right.
You can lean upon them for their expertise from the industry, right? So that is good. But then at the same time, as I said, you know, it's very common. You at some point of time, you may feel that, you know, you are being stopped, you are being cornered. It may not be their intention, but you may feel like that. That you may feel like that, okay, they are putting you on spot in a team meeting because they might be asking a difficult question to you, maybe related to architecture, maybe related to design. You may feel that, okay, they're putting you on spot in front of everyone. Or you may feel like, you know, they're trying to solve everything. What's your role there? Right? Or you may feel like they're not giving you the freedom you deserve, right? Now, it may not be intentional from their end, but that understanding, I think two people have to build. It's a relationship, right? Between a manager and a reporter, it's always a relationship. It's like in any relationship, right? You have to build the trust, you have to build the relationship, you have to understand each other. So, and that effort has to be given by both parties, and then only it works, right? So, as I said, so it has pros and cons. But at the same time, I have seen leaders who don't come from tech background, and they are wonderful. They are wonderful. They do wonders, right? So I think, and leadership, you know, yes, tech is important. Tech is one aspect of it, right? But this is my personal belief. Everyone has a role to play, right? In a team, it's a team, right? It's an org. Everyone has a role to play, right?
Right.
If I have to spend my time on you know, something strategic, something tactical, right? I prefer spending my time there rather than, if let's say I have to choose, I have to prioritize over a technical design review and then a strategy review, right? I would, and if let's say both the slots are same, I have to prioritize. I will go to the tactical discussions. I will go to the strategic discussions because I know managers under me or architects under me, they are that good that they can take care of the design things, right? So everyone has a role to play. If you and you know, in the leadership, it's more about one, empowering the team, right? Empowering the team, right? And second, giving them the freedom, building the trust, and telling them that yes, you can do. Without me, also you can do it. You are the best. You can do the best work of your life without me. Giving them that confidence, right? And third, giving them that bandwidth, creating that bandwidth for them, creating that opportunity for them. That yes. First, you can do it. Second, you have the bandwidth. I'm giving you the opportunity. Now, it's up to you how you leverage that opportunity, right? So, and for that, I need to create bandwidth for myself to go into tactical things, strategic things, figuring out how I can create more opportunities for you, right? So, in general, what I have seen is people who are more techie, leaders who are more techie, because by default they spend more time into tech. They you know, they get less time for tactical things. It's simple, right?
Right.
And then it's difficult for them to, you know, create those kind of opportunities for their team. And then teams are good. They're feeling happy that our leader is good in tech. We are able to understand. They are able to understand, and we are able to, explain it to them. But at the same time, teams complain that he or she is not creating opportunities for us. We are not getting the right recognition. We are not getting we don't know about our strategy. We're not getting the right communications because the leader's focus is only on tech, right?
Right.
So I think it's a balance leaders need to maintain. So that's why I'm saying when I look at leaders who are not coming from that techie background, I still feel that they're doing good in their job because they focus on other things which they're supposed to focus. For tech, if they're hiring the right people, I think they are sorted. Yes, they should be tracking. Yes, they should be, on top of their job. They should be knowing what their teams are doing. And if the team needs any support, they should be able to do that. They should be able to unblock the team. But there are a lot of ways, even if you're not that techy. So definitely, see, a certain level of tech is required anyways, right? I'm not saying that you don't need to know anything at all in tech. You don't know software development cycle, life cycle. You don't understand the importance of testing. So certain basics definitely everyone needs. But I'm talking about 19-20 difference, right? So if a leader is 20 on tech and another one is 19 on tech, still I think 19 on tech can still do better if they are focusing on the right things, what is required in leadership. If they're creating the right opportunities for their team, if they're creating the right model for the team, if they are giving the confidence to the team that they are the best and they can do the best. And they are creating that opportunity for them accordingly. I think they are doing good, right? So coming back to your question, right? So I have seen both kind of leaders. I've seen leaders who are hardcore techie and they do a lot of good things for their teams. I have seen people who are hardcore techie, but then they can't survive in the leadership because ultimately teams complain that they are interfering in the work. They don't trust their teams. They keep doing work themselves and they don't create the right opportunities.
Right. So I can feel the same thing. I can, with my short career itself, I can correlate. So the first thing when I started from my college, I moved to IIM Ahmedabad to start my own startup. That did not work. So I started working with one other startup that was in Mumbai. And fortunately, my lead left the company and I completed my internship with them and I was given a task to build the stock recommendations data pipeline for Motilal Oswal. So Motilal Oswals are the India's largest finance solutions providers, right? So that was the big project. So I started that project from very scratch, and that was I delivered it. Near to 8 months I took and I delivered it. After that, my team started hiring a lot. Right, that was a big project for a big client for our company, and we have developed multiple things. We have developed on top of NLP and other things, but when the new people came, I only had them. I was like, I will do. I can do everything. I was not giving. If some work happened, or some production work happened, I was like, no, just sit aside. I can solve it. So in the very beginning of the career, my managers taught me a good thing. Like, see, you have to. If you can do everything, right? You can do everything because you are good with the stuff. You're good with the technical stuff. But you have to. We have to build a teams. If you keep doing these things, how you will start doing new things, right? So I started believing others. Like, so I was having that habit of full techie that I know that there's some production work happening. I can solve it. I'm not quite sure somebody will able to solve it in that fractions amount of time or not. And it is a stock recommendation pipeline. If something happens, it's like too many calls and too many escalations happens. So that I learned. So I can totally relate from that. So my next question.
Another thing is, that's what I have learned in my career. I truly believe in vibes, energies, right? When you trust someone,
right,
even if they're not capable, if you're putting the right trust and if you're putting the right model around that trust, people will do everything to ensure that they're not breaking your trust.
Right. That's exactly happened with me. So there was one developer, his name was Yes, and he was very new to the industry. He was not knowing the technical stuff and other things. I given the trust, and after 6 months, I was not attending a single mail from Motilal Oswal and single call from Motilal Oswal. He handled everything and with his teams, and I moved out and I started building the product that my company needed. So yeah, rightly said. Yeah. So the next questions that I'm going to ask, that's the same questions that you said that you were 10 years into technical background. Now the 10 into this managerial background. But still, how this technical stuff, how much this, I can see there are lots of technical things. that a manager might not be knowing. How do you know? Like how you know about Kafka, how you know about certain things which is quite new to the industry. Do you read a lot, or do you read the book a lot, or you this knowledge comes from the discussions a lot? Like you discuss with your juniors or discuss with your teams, or it happens because you read a lot. So how does this knowledge, this technical knowledge, even it is accumulated in as part of you? How this had actually happened?
Okay. So, see, first thing, definitely I read a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I give credit to all people like you who are good YouTubers. So nowadays, YouTube also has a lot of good content. So I give credit to
Mm-hmm.
that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Third, I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn. So
Mm-hmm.
see, sometimes I don't see. I try to put 1 hour every day for my learning, but it's not possible
Mm-hmm.
every day. That is my
Mm-hmm.
goal, but a lot of times I don't reach that goal, right? But
Right.
one thing I do is I keep 1 hour for LinkedIn every single day. And LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
is for me, it's like you're when you watch news for half an hour, you get to know about the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing
Right.
is for me for LinkedIn, right? I keep half an
Mm-hmm.
hour for my job post, my LinkedIn post, and if people engage on that, I have to reply to them as a courtesy. Sometimes they're
Mm-hmm.
interesting, comments. I have to respond to them. And half an hour
Mm-hmm.
I keep for browsing through my own feed, right? And
Mm-hmm.
half an hour I learn a lot. Simple.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
few people whom I'm following, and they really write good content. And half
Mm-hmm.
an hour is enough for me to be on top of the tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I tell everyone. See, and everyone feels like because I was part of LinkedIn, that's why they feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm becoming a brand ambassador for LinkedIn. It's nothing like
Mm-hmm.
that. I
Yeah.
truly believe in the value, right? It's not because
Right.
I
Right.
work there, but I truly
Right.
believe in the value. It's an awesome platform, right?
Yeah, and I can see your growth. Yeah, I can see your growth. When we first connected, I think it was near to 5,000 or 6,000, and I can see in within 2 or 3 months it's near to 30K. And you were actually asking me that how this algorithms actually works, and that is tremendous. And I can see the efforts that you are taking to write the quality content, the content that you write, and then you try to beat on top of that, like. Uh, Commenting on something and then discussing on something, and you don't live as it is. That's
So for
really a good thing.
me, Ankur, for me, more than myself posting and all, for me, more
Mm-hmm.
important part is going through my feed and learning from there. LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
has always been a learning platform for me. So
Mm-hmm.
from my feed, I learn a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I prioritize every day for me. So
Mm-hmm.
coming back to your question, right? So for me, more than how many followers I have, or more than what I'm
Mm-hmm.
writing, more
Mm-hmm.
important for me is what I'm learning
Learning
from
from it.
them,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know people who are writing a lot of good stuff about motivational stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Motivational things. Then
Mm-hmm.
technical stuff is there. There
Mm-hmm.
is some learning in each and every post, right? I,
Mm-hmm.
I actually deliberately keep some posts. So I have created a group for my daughter, and I keep
Mm-hmm.
sending some when I get something motivational or something
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm.
inspirational. Some
Mm-hmm.
good examples are given, some nice videos there. I keep sending it in the group I created for my daughter, and then
Yeah.
the plan is every weekend she goes
Mm-hmm.
through that group and she learns from there, right? So there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot to learn for everyone, right?
Right. Right.
Be
Right.
it you are in tech or you are in leadership, you are
Mm-hmm.
in front end, back end, whatever you are doing, there's a lot to learn there. So
Mm-hmm.
that LinkedIn is my go-to place for ensuring that I'm learning everything. Every day I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning something new, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm on top of the tech, right? So now, see,
Mm-hmm.
these posts don't give you that much exposure that you'll understand things in deep, right? But
Right. Right.
slowly you'll understand the high
Stand.
level, you'll
Mm-hmm.
understand the context, and then you can decide which
Correct.
topic you want to
Correct.
go deeper.
Correct. Correct.
So,
Correct.
as I said, for me, it's more like a news.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to my LinkedIn feed, I feel like, okay, I have watched news for half an hour. Tech
Mm-hmm. Right.
news.
Yeah, the same thing with me. So when I started, I feel like I'm getting the stuffs, but why it is I'm not able to understand it deeply. So I also started doing the same thing. If I read some comment and if it is triggering my mind, I will go back and I will discuss with my peers. I will
Same,
read
same.
a lot. So that also helped me. So yeah, this is lots of technical and the serious discussion. We also have one Blitz round, a rapid fire round. It's like coffee with Karan, but it's not coffee with Karan. It's actually coffee with Ankur.
I'm good.
So yes. So we
Where's
will
my coffee? I don't have coffee. I,
coffee.
you should have ordered for me.
Yeah, we'll try to send. But yeah, so we will be having a straightforward answer, and you have to give it in a very straightforward thing. Okay, so let's start. So, what is your favorite gadget as a techie person?
As a techie, I'm not sure, but generally I love iPads. So a lot of my time goes on iPad. If my LinkedIn, I browse it on iPad. If I'm watching some YouTube video, I prefer to do it on iPad rather than mobile. So iPad I use a lot.
Okay, and what is your preference? It is public cloud, private cloud, or in-premise clusters?
See, all three have their own pros and cons, right?
Mm-hmm.
It depends on, I mean, if your question is, as of today, as of now, what is my preference? I'll go with Azure.
Yeah.
I'm a huge investor of Microsoft and Azure. So all things for Microsoft Azure, okay?
Okay.
I think your question is more about which one should be preferred, right?
Yeah.
That
So
depends on, yeah, sorry, you were saying something?
yeah, this is Blitz down, so I cannot give you more time to that to explain. We can just move to next questions.
Okay, sure.
So what do you prefer? Or do you prefer writing SQL, or you will prefer using Power BI or Tableau to create some dashboards or something like that?
It depends, right? So if let's say I'm projecting something to leaders, right? And in that case, I would prefer to go with the dashboard, right? I don't want to spend time in front of them writing the SQL, executing, waiting for its execution, and then showing them the results, right? And sometimes you don't even know how much they will understand. If you're talking to a CFO, right? You don't know how much they'll understand about the SQL syntax and all, right? And it's a waste of waste of their time, right? But when it comes to, let's say if I'm debugging some issue, right, and I'm in a bit of that, I don't want to wait for the dashboard to get refreshed, right? I want to see what is there at this point of time. In that case, I'll prefer is firing the SQL query then and there.
Okay. So what do you prefer, reading blogs or watching videos?
Videos.
Okay. And so you already mentioned my next answer of my next question, AWS, GCP versus Azure. I think it will be always Azure.
Azure.
Okay, and the next
So
thing is
this answer may change, right? It depends where I'm working. So generally, where I work, I go deeper into that tech stack, and when you go deeper, you start loving that, right? Because
and I also feel that with respect to data engineering, Azure is really getting more hands-on and more top-notch things with respect.
A lot of platformization is happening in data.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So if you have to choose one thing, and you have to advise someone who has just started his career or her career, so you will advise them to upgrade which particular thing, technical stuffs or soft skills?
If someone has just started, see, these two are very different things. I don't think that we should separate them out, or we should try to choose one over other, right? Both are equally important. I think at some point of time you have to balance, right? It should not happen that, okay, you are just into technical and you don't know how to talk to your peers, or how to help your juniors, or how to respect your seniors, right? So that should definitely come. But in general, what I've seen is, I don't know about other countries, but in India, I've seen people are generally having good soft skills. So if you're starting your career, focus on your tech skills, assuming that you already have good soft skills. But as you grow, focus more on soft skills.
Okay, so work from home, office, or hybrid? I think I know the answer.
Work from office, work from office, work from office. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen one post with that. Yeah, so
for me, work from office works, but in general, I think hybrid works better for most of the people.
Yeah, so that was the very simple bleach down for us. And before closing things, I have one serious question to ask. Do you think that women, or particularly girls, are not have that much of inspirations when they enter into this industry? Like they don't feel that much confident, and they feel like it's a male-oriented industry. I'm talking about only IT industry. Even if girls, if you just try to compare the IT industry with mechanical and civils, the number of girls in IT the branch in college, computer science and IT are quite huge. But when I've seen they don't consider themselves that they can crack GSOC, they can crack Google Summer of Code. But most of the times, why they are able to do that? Why there is a gap? Why they don't have that many inspirations?
Okay, so first, Ankur, it's a very deep question. Okay, I don't think if I'll be able to explain or debate on this in few minutes, but let me try to explain you. the real problem, right? The real problem is in our society, right? When you go to any park, okay, any park, and you'll see boys playing basketball or doing some,
Right.
wild stuff, climbing on the trees, trying something different, right? And they're
Right.
not scared of it, and their parents are also encouraging them.
Right.
You look at the girl child, they might be playing with some toys in the park, sitting somewhere quietly, nicely, like a good girl. And if they try to run away or play something which needs run or something, their parents also will be like, oh, stop, 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 you'll get hurt, right? And that happens from the childhood.
Right.
This is what I'm telling you based on my observation. Now I know there are a lot of places where we are changing things.
Right.
In my society, I see a lot of girls playing basketball as well.
Right.
But if you compare the numbers, still it's you can see the difference in the numbers, boys versus girls, right?
Right.
And if you go to any art and design class, so there are extracurricular activities, right? You will get out of 10, 8 will be girls, 2 will be boys, right?
Right.
So
Right.
we have designed things like that okay, this is for girls and this is for boys, right? Now,
Right.
whenever it comes to things related to sports, whenever it comes to things related to IT, technology, it's always like, no, it's not the field for girls, it's only for boys, right?
Right.
When a boy is playing with the cars, parents very proudly say कि बड़े होकर कार बनाएगा, इसको तो engineer
Right.
बनाएगा, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And you will hardly see girls playing with cars, right? They would be playing with the dolls and all, right?
Right. Right.
So in general, that is, embedded in our society. So that is the real problem, right?
Right.
Now, coming back to your question, when girls come out of the college, why they don't have that much confidence? Again, the first part is definitely, whatever they have seen from their childhood, right? Second, when they go to the college, look at the ratio, right? Yes, there is a girls' quota in a lot of colleges, I know. Yes, girls prefer IT, so in IT maybe the ratio is better. But then in general, if you see in engineering colleges, ratio is different, right? And it's not only about girls versus boys. You go to US and or UK in a city where there are less Indians, you by default will start feeling intimidated, right?
Right.
Or any other country, right? Where you feel that okay, you are not part of the crowd, you'll feel intimidated. So it's not about girls versus boys. It's about any ratio, right? Whenever you are a minority, be it a caste, be it a religion, be it a gender, be it your nationality, wherever you are in a crowd where you are a minority, you'll feel intimidated. And that will start happening from the day one in the college, right?
Right.
Think practically, right? So you might be feeling that okay, this girl got the admission through quota, maybe and I hear this a lot that if I would have been a girl, I would have got a better college, I would have got a better branch, right? But still, even after getting that branch, even after getting that better college, are they able to do that good? Because see, they are losing confidence every day. They are sitting in a class where all boys are around, and then only 4 or 5 girls are there. I remember when I did BTech, if I remember exactly, there were 7 girls. And the whole batch was somewhere around 40, 50 maybe. I don't remember the exact numbers, but this was something like that, right? So that part will happen. So one is your childhood theory. Then you have what you see around you, right? And then it happens. It's also to do about how much courageous you are, right?
Right.
So I remember, I see it a lot, right? When I look at boys, they are courageous. They know I can do that. It's in their habit to take risk, to show courage. They feel proud in that, right?
Right.
They don't have any resources. They will figure out some resource for their learning. If they have to learn coding, if they have to learn something, they'll figure out a way. For girls, they're not that courageous also, right?
Right. Right.
So,
That's the point which I really feel, right?
So there are multiple factors contributing to the fact that why they are not courageous, right? And
Right.
it all is in our society, and that's why I always appreciate all the initiatives of women in tech, focus women, bringing girls forward, because we have to make this change in the society.
Right.
You look at, I don't know, so you're in Walmart, right?
Right.
So in Walmart, I generally see that the ratio for girls is better, but still, if you look at your a hierarchy, you'll see less girls, right? Now imagine if someone is coming fresh out of college, they're seeing less girls around, right? So the intimidation they had in the college, that will continue, right?
Right.
So
Right.
and when I'm saying intimidation, no one tries to intimidate them. It's not that boys are trying to intimidate girls. No, nothing like that. But it
Right.
happens by default. It's psychological. Our brain is wired like that. The moment we are in minority, we feel uncomfortable. We
Right.
start losing our courage and confidence, right? So we are
Right.
designed like that, right? So it's not
Right.
that Walmart is saying that, okay, because there are less girls, girls should feel less confident, but then it will still happen, because even though you'll have a lot of policies to support women in tech, women in product, still girls will feel intimidated. And
Right.
the funny part is, most of the girls don't realize that. They don't realize that
Right.
they're feeling
Really.
intimidated. They don't. I'm
Right.
telling this,
Right.
but they don't. If you will talk to them, maybe they won't. Maybe they won't understand that. Or
Yeah, so I started this women intake. The reason of starting was exactly the same thing. So one of my friends, she is quite junior to me, and I'm having that. She's so brilliant from her mind. She cracked IIT. I could not crack. I studied from triple IT. I cracked JEE Main. She cracked JEE Advanced. So she's near to. She's currently staying at IIT Guwahati. Okay, so IIT Guwahati. So what happened that I actually asked her that how she is going to look her career once she start working, right? She's like, she was having no idea at all. So I asked, do you know anyone, any techie that whom you can actually inspire or something? She's like, yeah, I know someone, CTO of Jiroda, Kailash Nath, and other things. That you know some girl, and she was like, no, I don't know. So I was like, when I was from Triple IT, I was having failure that I am going to become the best coder of this country. I really have. I was having that courage. So I'm going to find out the resources. I'm going to be top notch, and I was. She is able to crack IIT, but still she is not confident. So and I felt like that. Yeah,
that's the problem. So out of 10, only one girl will have courage to raise hand. That yes, I
right,
want it.
right,
I want
right.
this. I want to do this. I want to be the best. I want to be on the top. I
Yeah,
want to do the best work of my life. Out of
yes,
10, only one girl will have that courage. Only one will show that confidence. And that's
yes,
where it's very important for us to change these things in our society. And that's where, it's okay, if someone says that, you know, we are supporting women, we are supporting girls, why there are specialized policies for girls. I'm okay with those specialized policies.
yeah, yeah, right.
That is needed. If 1 out of 10 girls is raising hand, I need some support system for that girl, so that
Yeah, yeah,
later it should not happen that even that girl is taking a back seat, that okay, no, I'm scared, I don't want to do that,
yeah,
maybe I'm not part of the crowd, right? And you're right, they're not seeing anyone whom they can look up to. They're not seeing
yeah.
an ideal, right? They're not
Yeah,
seeing someone who can inspire them.
right. So the reason for that to bring the people like you, that at least they have some example. So if Isa can do, if someone Roni Basi can do, then I can also do. It's not always oriented. So our VP in Chennai, she's a lady, right? So if they have this type of things that actually women are on the top. It's not that they are not on the top. Walmart has very good culture of women, and most
Yeah,
of the leaders,
I know.
uh, they are just a woman. So if you they have this type of tendency that yeah, I can do it, if they have that inspirations right from their college itself, I think that is going to make a big difference. And if I can change 4 to 5 girls from this initiative, I think I'm good with this. I don't have any problem if anyone keeps saying anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one thing which I have noticed is the culture we have in India. I don't know if that's the problem across the globe or not. I was having a discussion with one of my friends in US, and he was claiming that the same problem it's there in US as well. But then in India, the one problem I see is girls assume that okay, they have a short career. From the beginning only, they have accepted that okay, I'm
Right.
working for 2 years maybe, or maybe 4 years. After 2 years, I'll get married. After 4 years, I'll get a baby, and then I'll quit. Either I'll quit
Right.
after wedding or I'll quit after baby, right? So maximum 5 years career I have. And if I have only 5 years of career, why to take pain? Let's enjoy this life, right? I'm getting good salary. I know a girl who did from IIT and who joined a good product company. She came from Delhi. Everything was sorted. Everything was awesome for her. But she was sorted in her life. See, if I have to quit job after a certain number of years, this time I just want to enjoy. I want to take good salary from my company, and I want to enjoy my life. Because I don't know what will happen after wedding. I don't know what will happen after baby. I may
Yeah,
not
this
have a chance
mentality has to change.
to go
Right.
across the globe, right? So they have already accepted that it's a short-lived period.
Yeah,
and I
right.
want to enjoy this money, and I want to
Mhm.
use my money for my pleasure, and I just want
Mhm.
to enjoy my life.
Yeah, right. So this mentality has to change. Yeah, and there are girls who are really changing it. And I hope if this keep on happening, the frequency of that and the number of girls will increase, and there people will more think about changing world or changing something which can actually inspire or do little bit of changes in the society. I think that will be a great thing. I think we are already out of time. I have taken a lot of time of
No
you,
worries,
Isa.
no worries at
But
all,
yeah,
Ankur. It was very nice talking to you.
yeah,
And
thank you for giving so valuable times. I know it's very hard to spend this much of times, and I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for coming into this series.
thank you
Thank you.
for the initiative, Ankur. This is an awesome initiative. And as you
Mhm.
said, even if you can change a mindset for 4, 5 girls, it's
Mhm.
paid off, right? All your hard work
Right,
is paid off.
right.
So thank you for taking this initiative. We need more people who will come forward, Like this is one initiative, right? But then
Mhm.
there are a lot of forms how you can show your allyship for the
Mhm.
girls, right?
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
need more people to
Mhm.
build that kind of a culture, that social
Right,
culture we need to build, right?
right.
So yeah, thank you for the initiative,
Yeah,
and
thank
thank
you,
you for my
Isha.
coffee.
Yeah, thank you. I always like to say thank you, Isha. Bye bye. Thank you.